S&P up a little, the NASDAQ down slightly. Doug Flynn joins us, certified financial planner, co-founder at Flynn Zito Capital Management. I say that because we have the headlines. So consumer spending's up. Consumer sentiment, I think, is a 2.5-year high. The headline reading, consumer sentiment rises as inflation expectations improve there from Barron's. And it's the last day of the quarter, right? So, and the S&P, this is the best start to the year, I believe, in like 5 years, right? So what about this market?
It is. It's, well, 5 months in a row where we've had winning months and 2 quarters in a row of consecutive positive quarters. So that's all good. And yeah, S&P is already up over 10% year to date. As we've spoken about, that's typically what you might expect for a whole year, and we've gotten that in the first quarter. And we're just a smidge away from that Dow 40,000 magic number. Very, very close there as well.
Hats.
So we're waiting for that, and the way the momentum's going, it could certainly happen very, very soon.
So it's interesting when you read about this. I think history suggests when you have a year like this, a lot of times it continues. You know, your logic would tell you maybe the opposite would be true. In other words, we've run up a lot, so we're due for a pause. But sometimes you start off the year strong. Those have been some of the best years. But anyway, tell us what you expect the rest of the year.
Yeah, I would expect that even though you might get a little bit more of a move here, I do expect, I mean, it to come down at some point and correct a little bit.
Yeah.
The lowest point we've been so far this year is only negative 2%. Historically, during the year, the average negative intra-year is minus 14%. So it wouldn't surprise me if you have a little bit of a correction at some point. That doesn't mean that we even end the year negative. But those are the opportunities. It's really hard to chase all-time high prices when you're throwing money at the market. Right. You don't really want to do that.
People are throwing money at everything, by the way. The consumer spending, the consumer sentiment. I mean, people are out there spending now, which is obviously a good sign for the economy. But your point is well taken on a possible pullback. I wanted to ask you about Baltimore for a moment. We've obviously been covering this Baltimore bridge collapse, which is a terrible, terrible story. We just had an update a few minutes ago. But from a financial perspective, I was reading this earlier today in Bloomberg. The fact that the insurance payouts on this could be crazy. The Baltimore bridge collapse, it says, may trigger historic marine loss. They were citing Lloyd's of London, but this is going to be something when you look at the numbers, right?
Absolutely. Like any disaster such as this, or even a natural disaster, there are the insurance companies. You're paying your insurance premiums for these avoidance of such events, and when they happen, hopefully that goes a long way towards fixing things and covering a lot of the expenses. Sometimes it doesn't cover everything, but it goes a long way to stopping that. It is a very important port, as you've talked about. And so the insurance companies are on the hook for things like this. And sometimes that can set them back. But that's the business they're in. They collect all that premium money when things are rosy. And at some point or another, they're going to pay up. That's how they gauge those risks.
No, fair. That's what it is. That's why you have insurance. And this is when you need insurance. I know you're a big baseball fan. It's funny, we have all these guests that come on, like, you know who George Will is, I presume, the terrific writer. He was on with us last hour. He's a huge baseball fan and really like a baseball historian. So he loves to talk about baseball. So he came on, and you and I have talked about it before, and George has this quiz that he put in the Washington Post. Now, have you been told anything about this in advance? Because I don't want you to cheat.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good. Good. We like to surprise you. So he came on, and he has a quiz in the Washington Post, and we picked out for TV like 3 questions. This is the first one I'm putting up on the screen. I took this quiz already. I want to see how you do. First question, baseball fan Doug. The youngest player to reach 3,000 hits. Your choices are Tris Speaker, Stan Musial, Pete Rose, or Ty Cobb. Youngest player to get to 3,000. What do you think?
That's a great question.
Come on.
I'm going to go with Ty Cobb.
Oh, you're right. I said Pete Rose because I didn't want to get all the questions right. But that was, you're right. I believe it is Ty Cobb. There it is. Ding, ding, ding. So you win the first one. Had to be Pete Rose or Ty Cobb, right? The top 2 in the hits. So you figured,
definitely think so.
You figured one. This one's easy. The number, well, I think it's easy anyway, just the way the game has changed. The number of complete games in 2023, 59, 17, 35, or 8. I guess, there are actually 2 possible answers, but.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to go with 8 just because so few people throw complete games. And I don't know if that includes like combined complete games or whatever, but that wouldn't be the case. That would be like combined no-hitter. But I think complete games, I'm going to go with 8. I don't know if that's right.
I think it is. I say I think because we asked George to come on. It was his quiz, and he didn't remember what the answers were because he wrote so many questions. But we think it's 8. So that's what we're going with. And this last one, you're a Yankee fan, but this one I think they wrote for me. But you'll probably get it even as a Yankee fan. It's a funny question.
That's a lot of pressure, Connell. Connell. I don't know.
This is the bonus question. Ready? Who said, quote, the only thing worse than a Mets game is a Mets doubleheader? Was it Marv Thornberry, Marvelous Marv? Was it Casey Stengel, Ralph Kiner, or Keith Hernandez? Who said that?
Wow. I'm going to go with Ralph Kiner.
Oh, that was he could have. He used to say, "It's going." It's caught by the shortstop, you know that. But no, it was Casey Stengel, I believe. That's what George said. But they all said it. They've all had some doozies. So those are actually good multiple choice questions.
Do you know who has the best record on opening day of all the teams?
I'll ask the questions here, Doug. By the way, yeah, the Mets do. The Mets. That's the thing. They always. They always win on opening day, and then the rest of the year, forget it. But this year they're rained out today, so
that's
I don't know what that means. That might be a good open finally for the year, you know. So good luck to those poor Yankees that never win anything. I hope they do well this year. They actually haven't won in a while. Thank you. Thanks for playing baseball trivia with us in our business segment.
Thanks, Connell.
All right.